from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now, Special Edition.
In August, Sullivan Family Farms in Cheney took quite a hit. The fire caused them to lose significant amounts of hay, timber, and their irrigation system was damaged. But the biggest hit of all was to their ox, Sprite, who is the heart of their farm. Sprite faced serious injuries from his burns. His owner wasn't sure that he'd survive. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Smith. Bronte Sorotsky has more on how Sprite and the farm have recovered since that devastating wildfire. She joins us with more.
Sullivan Family Farms was directly impacted by the Williams Lake fire. It's taken a lot of time and effort, but they are starting to rebuild. Their ox Sprite was injured in the fire, but on Saturday, he made his triumphant return.
We were thankful that he didn't perish.
Although Sprite did sustain some injuries from the wildfire.
He was on 66 pills a day, so he was being treated for the burns, and they were really worried about if he would be able to heal.
Thankfully, he did. Yet on Saturday, he came down from the barn for the first time since the fire. To celebrate his return, people visited the farm to give him a warm welcome back. People were also able to see how far along the farm has come since the fire.
Honestly, it's amazing seeing how much the farm has rebounded and all the work that Sullivan has been doing to just keep everything afloat and bounce back, really.
Louise says she's thankful for her community for sticking with them throughout Sprite's healing journey.
But just so many people that have been watching his journey and able to celebrate with us, that was a big part of our fire recovery process. And we're excited to be able to just say thank you to Spokane, the Cheney community, the West Plains community for supporting us as we and our neighbors recover from the devastation of the fire.
The farm is still trying to repair their drip irrigation system in their pasture that were also damaged in the fire. Now, there is still work to be done, especially as winter approaches. But Louise says she's just glad to know that Sprite is okay. Reporting in Cheney, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
Well, a woman is now in the hospital after a bear attacked her early this morning in central Washington. The Department of Fish and Wildlife says the woman was taking her dog out when an adult female bear charged her. Now, the Chelan County Sheriff warned the public to stay away from certain areas in Leavenworth, while Fish and Wildlife located, captured, and removed the female bear and the 2 cubs. They were taken to a Paws Wildlife Rehabilitation Facility. And if you're a gardener, listen up. Freezing temperatures are on the way. Meteorologist Matt Gray is here with how chilly it's going to be tonight after that big change in our weather yesterday. Matt, fall has finally arrived.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. All the sweaters and, well, we could definitely put the shorts away. I know I did. Yesterday evening, well, here's our temperatures. You know, just a few days ago, these would have been our lows around the region, but instead, we're here and just past the 8 o'clock hour and already in the low and mid 40s across the metro. 42 right now in downtown Coeur d'Alene, downtown Spokane at 44. In Cheney, we're already down into the upper 30s. Spangle's hitting there as well. Won't be long before we're in the 30s too in Spirit Lake. So this very sudden flip to fall, well, guess what? We're going from having no 30s to our first freezing night of the year. We're going to see a lot of places get down into the low 30s and even a few spots down into the upper 20s tonight. We're also going to be watching for some patchy fog. If you are going to bed soon and you'll be getting up early to do whatever you've got to do for Sunday. So here are some of our lows in the metro. Deer Park and Spirit Lake both down into the 20s tonight. 30 for Cheney and Spangle. 31 in downtown Spokane. Coeur d'Alene a little bit warmer. Going to stay in the mid 30s. But boy, there's a lot of places that are going to get down to freezing. So yeah, gardeners, it is all over. We are going to be down in these 30s very consistently, and that means consistent frosty conditions, even if this is probably going to be the coldest night of the upcoming week. Now, meanwhile, most of the rain has gone, but we have seen over Whitman County and crossing the Snake River into Garfield, we have seen a little bit of lightning from some of these showers. We are going to see more rain in the forecast, but there is a window where you can get out and enjoy some of this cooler weather. I'll show you that coming up.
All right, Matt, thanks. And the first snow of the season has also fallen on your favorite local mountains. This is Mount Spokane today with that first layer of snow, getting ready for skiers and snowboarders in no time. And if you're looking to upgrade some of your gear before the winter season, you'll want to check out the Mount Spokane Ski Patrol Ski Swap happening next weekend. The swap will include more than 22,000 new and used items, skis, snowboards, clothing, goggles, and children's gear. It will be held at the Spokane County Fairgrounds and Expo Center. For more information on the ski swap, just look for this story on KXLY.com. Well, police arrested 3 men on the Colville Reservation for the killing of a brother and sister and shooting a police officer Thursday night. That shooting happened in Keller near Nez Pelham, where at least one of the suspects was arrested. Here are those suspects on your screen now. Zachary Holt and Curry Pinkham. Colville Tribes Emergency Services has not identified that third suspect. Pinkham was found a little after 6 p.m. Friday evening. Detectives are still trying to figure out what exactly happened. We'll continue to update this story as we learn new information right here and online. You can find this story as well on KXLY.com. Coming up on this special edition of 4 News Now, after 42 years in the community, a beloved Spokane restaurant is closing its doors. Hear why from the owner and how she wants the restaurant to go out with a bang. Coming up. Ukrainians are being told to take shelter as officials work to restore parts of the country's power grid after Russian attacks. Plus, President Biden's student debt relief program now on hold, what it means for the more than 20 million people who already applied for relief. Right after the break.
And coming up fairly soon as well, you've got to turn the heaters on tonight as we get down into the low 30s and even in the 20s in some parts of the inland Northwest. It's our first taste of late fall, and we have got more active weather on the way. Now that we have flipped over to cool conditions, we'll show you that and what you need to be ready for the rest of the weekend coming up.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
I met Anitas 10 years ago. He didn't have bad credit, but he just had no credit to begin with. I took the time to really go over some options with him. Fast forward 10 years down the road, he's got his business account with Numerica. He's looking to buy his second home also with Numerica.
First psoriasis, then psoriatic arthritis.
Even walking was tough.
I had to do something. I started Cosentyx.
Cosentyx can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just 1 day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
For over 60 years, McVeigh Brothers Siding and Windows has been supplying the entire region with the very best energy-efficient windows made by the Coeur d'Alene Window Company. As people continue to improve and upgrade their older homes, McVeigh Brothers would love to help by offering our most advanced R4 window package at last year's rates to give you the most energy-efficient windows sold today before the prices go up. We understand people are spending more time in their homes, so we want to do our part in making it as comfortable as possible.
This is a town called Basic. It's pretty hard to stand out around here. But if you pull up in a 2022 Nissan Rogue, you'll stand out before your feet even hit the pavement.
Can you make mine look like that?
Anything but basic. The 2022 Nissan Rogue. Get 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy.
A Republican-led legal challenge has put President Joe Biden's student debt relief program on hold The temporary pause means for now the administration can't cancel loans covered under the policy, which was set to start as soon as tomorrow. So what happens now? Chris Wynn has a closer look at what this means for more than 20 million people who already applied for the relief.
On the same day, President Joe Biden touted his student loan forgiveness program.
This is a game changer. We're hearing from people all over the country.
A federal appeals court on Friday put the policy on pause for now, barring the administration from canceling loans while the court considers a legal challenge from 6 Republican-led states, which are requesting a preliminary injunction, saying President Biden doesn't have the legal authority to wipe out the debt.
Republican members of Congress and Republican governors are doing everything they can to deny this relief, even to their own constituents. Their outrage is wrong and it's hypocritical.
The pause means millions of people waiting for the rollout of the first wave of loan forgiveness will now have to wait a little longer while the program's fate is decided.
This relief is breaking barriers in our communities and in our minds about what we can do with our future.
The program would dismiss up to $10,000 in debt for eligible applicants or up to $20,000 if they were Pell Grant recipients. More than 20 million people have applied since last week. The White House had previously identified Sunday as the soonest day that some borrowers could see their debt canceled.
I want to be clear who's going to benefit most. Working people, middle-class folks.
So what happens now? A lot of back and forth. The White House is still encouraging people to apply for relief at studentaid.gov. The administration has until Monday to submit its response, followed by the Republican response on Tuesday. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
The latest on Russia's attacks on Ukraine. Today, a series of Russian attacks across central and western Ukraine leaves people without electricity throughout multiple regions of the country. Here's a photo from one of those strikes. People were told to stay in shelters while electricians worked to restore power across the city following the critical infrastructure attacks. In one bomb shelter, a Ukrainian soldier played the violin for everyone waiting. The U.S. is calling for an end to Russia's war on Ukraine. That came in a UN Security Council meeting today. Here's what the U.S. ambassador had to say.
If women matter, urge Russia to silence its guns. If children matter, ask Russia to withdraw its forces. We in this chamber, charged with the protection of global peace and security, must continue to call for accountability and Russia's immediate cessation of its illegal war of aggression against Ukraine.
Coming up next in your forecast, we have been, well, a whole lot cooler because of this stormy weather. Lots of snow to our neighbors in Montana and Wyoming. We're on the backside of this now, but there's still some wet weather tooling around the inland northwest. We'll take a closer look at what's happening where you live and when the next round of wet weather is set to arrive in your First Alert forecast.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Every time you use your ICCU Premier Rewards Visa card, you're earning rewards. Whether it's cash back or points, being a member of Idaho Central really pays back. Start earning points and getting cash back for your everyday purchases. It's a win-win. Idaho Central Credit Union. We believe life should be rewarding.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices, the coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
This is Gloria. She hasn't worked this hard to only get this far with her cholesterol. Taken with a statin, Leqvio can lower bad cholesterol by over 50% and keep it low with 2 doses a year. Side effects were injection site reaction, joint pain, urinary tract infection, diarrhea, chest cold, pain in legs or arms, and shortness of breath. With Leqvio, lowering cholesterol becomes just one more thing life throws your way. Ask your doctor about Leqvio. Lower, longer, Leqvio.
4 News Now is brought to you by Culligan Water.
Not every day that you see some lightning in October, but that's what we have on this dry backside of this storm system that we've been seeing for the last few days. So it's much quieter on the radar on this Saturday, but it is not entirely empty. You can see crossing the Snake River now, it's still got a thunderstorm. Might even see a little bit of those graupel snow pellets that come down in some of these systems as well, just because of how cold it is as you get higher up into these storms. And we're going to continue to see rain from time to time through the LC Valley. And if this little cell holds together, it might even wake its way into the Lewiston-Clarkston area as we head over the next hour to hour and a half. Either way, just picking up some more much needed moisture around the region. We head further north. This is the only other area where we're getting a little bit of action. I think Schweitzer's pretty happy about that, though. Continuing to see some snow in the Selkirk Range, some light rain as you work your way between Priest River and Priest Lake. At least for now, just some very light sprinkles. Not expecting a whole lot of activity as we head through the rest of the night. Here is what you got to know. First of all, our first freeze for the season for many of us is coming tonight. Yeah, plants. Help them out. They're not going to like this. Sunny and dry for the afternoon, so a pretty nice end to our weekend after a bit of a rough start. Rain's going to come back, though, on Monday, or just in time for the morning drive, and we're going to see snowy pass conditions. Once it started, does it look like it's going to stop? That is going to be something we say over and over again in the weeks ahead. So for tonight, look at these temperatures. Down to 28 in Bonners Ferry, 28 in Sandpoint as well. Colville down to the low 20s, 21. The Met Howe Valley down to the mid-20s also. Upper 20s in Ritzville and Pullman. Right about freezing for Spokane. A little bit warmer in Coeur d'Alene, but you head further north, farther away from the lake, and you'll drop into the freezing territory pretty quickly. St. Mary's down to 31. So pretty much everybody in that freezing range. Because of some of the wet weather that we've seen over the past couple of days, we'll also likely see some fog crop up in the region again. So here is our fog simulation. Mostly going to be around Kootenai County, so don't be surprised if you are waking up early. This is about 5 a.m. where we're going to see some foggy conditions to start our day. So yeah, probably worth taking it a little bit easier if you've got some place to be in the morning. Also going to be quite a chill as well. Got to bring out the extra jacket. 33 in the morning. We'll get up to the mid 40s around midday. At least we'll have some sunshine. That'll take the edge off of that. And then up around the low 50s for the afternoon, dropping back to the 40s for the evening. Now, most of North Idaho, you're not going to crack 50 degrees. You're going to be close. 47 in Coeur d'Alene for a high tomorrow. But overall, definitely going to feel like a cool, crisp fall day. But at least we'll have a little bit of sun. It's not going to last very long. This is early Monday morning, snowing like a Dickens in the Cascades. And then our Idaho passes start to see that as well. It'll be rain for lunchtime down in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene and our surrounding communities. So, hey, pretty high rain chance for Monday. We continue with some wet weather for the first kind of 2/3 of the week. We're going to try it a little bit for Thursday. May have to keep an eye on some more rain in the forecast for Friday and Saturday. Just not seeing enough to put the rain on gun here just yet. But that is a very fall-like forecast and a big change from where we were just a couple of days ago.
All right, Matt, thanks for that. And as we move into flu season, pediatric hospitals across the country are filling up, but not just with the flu, also with cases RSV, other respiratory viruses. ABC's Mona Kassar Abdi with the details.
Across the country, doctors say they are seeing a rise in pediatric patients with cases of RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus, the flu, and other respiratory viruses. According to the CDC, the age group currently most impacted by the flu-like illness is children under 5.
Not only are we seeing more viruses, we are seeing them sooner than we typically see them in cold and flu season.
Health officials say as people continue to pull back on COVID measures, such as wearing masks and social distancing, we're seeing a surge of infections that in the past might have been spread out over a period of time.
So as we get into the flu season, you might have a convergence of 3 significant respiratory illnesses at one time in children. RSV, which you just mentioned, influenza, and of course there's always the concern as we get into the winter about a surge of a new variant of COVID-19.
Warning signs of respiratory illnesses include fast or labored breathing, flared nostrils, blue or discolored skin on the face, signaling low oxygen, and dehydration, such as dry mouth or a decrease in wet diapers. Hospitals in at least 43 states telling ABC News they are facing a crush of the flu, RSV, and other common viruses.
This is the pediatric version of the beginning of the pandemic, and it has really taxed all of us.
Lakin Weaver lives outside Dallas. She says 3 nearby hospitals were full when her son, who has asthma, came down with RSV.
I'm panicking, crying. That's a scary feeling. You don't know what's happening in that moment.
He was taken to Cook Children's Hospital in Fort Worth, where doctors are treating nearly 300 RSV patients a day.
This has been the highest volume of patients I have ever seen.
Health officials say they are preparing for a possible shortage of beds for the most vulnerable. Monaco Sarabdi, ABC News, New York.
And if you haven't had the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine yet, you or your insurance may be picking up the tab soon. As government contracts wind down, Pfizer's vaccine will be sold for up to $130 per dose. But the company believes most people will not have to pay that much out of pocket. The shift is expected early next year. Washington lawmakers and the state's attorney general are teaming up to prevent crisis pregnancy centers and period tracking apps from giving away your information. Lawmakers say period tracking apps can sell sensitive information about a woman's late period or miscarriage to data brokers. If approved, the Empowered Act will block apps and websites from collecting that data. It would also prevent them from tracking those who visit crisis centers and targeting them with pro-life messaging and political ads. Still to come here on 4 News Now, your ballots are arriving in the mail, but what's being done to keep your vote safe? Find out coming up on 4 News Now. And just weeks before the general election, the Republican National Committee is suing Google. That reason coming up after the break.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
The idea of owning a home was a really big dream of mine. It felt kind of like a pipe dream. When I think of a mortgage advisor, I think of someone who is stuffy, not approachable or friendly. But then we went to BECU and I met Lauren. She was like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how you make it happen. This is how you buy a home. And it wasn't scary or overwhelming. Watching my daughter grow up in a home that we own is amazing. My mortgage advisor changed my life and my family's life.
This is another one of those surprise medical bills you get in the mail. I've gotten them. You've gotten them. I'm Kathy McMorris Rogers. With inflation crushing our families, we need to put a stop to these. I support requiring hospitals, insurers, and doctors to disclose their prices so you can know the real cost and can shop around for the best care. I approve this message because no one likes surprises, especially this kind.
Dear 2029, we look forward to seeing you. After our 160-point quality assurance inspections, we'll be Toyota certified used vehicles with 7-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranties. Not to honk our own horns, but the best new cars make the best used cars. Yours, Toyota.
Get 3.99% APR for up to 60 months on all Camry, Corolla, or RAV4 Toyota certified used models.
Find yours at toyotacertified.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Enjoy
enjoy the natural beauty of Coeur d'Alene with our fall stay and cruise package. Book your stay today at cdaresort.com.
Watch me. Watch me jump, dive, and splash. Put me by a pool, I'll be soaked in a flash. A girl in the water to swim like a fish. Just 2 simple legs. That was my wish. I'm a sea turtle, shark, a seal on a slide. This is my day of fun, with nothing to hide. Watch me. Pioneers in orthotic and prosthetic technology at Shriners Children's. The most amazing care anywhere.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
In our For the People election coverage, check your mail check your mailboxes this weekend. Washington ballots have been mailed out and are starting to arrive. The Spokane County Election Office says if you don't receive yours by Tuesday, call for a replacement or check that they have your current mailing address online at vote.wa.gov. And if you start to cast your vote in the midterms, federal, state, and local authorities are working to ensure your ballot counts. ABC's M. Wynn is here with more.
With just 3 weekends to go into the midterm elections, this morning the FBI sending a stark warning of potential crimes and threats against workers and voters at polling centers. According to the Brennan Center, 1 in 6 local election workers have experienced threats, and 1 in 5 are very or somewhat unlikely to continue serving through 2024. Just this week in Arizona, authorities investigating multiple complaints of voter intimidation. In surveillance video obtained by our affiliate, KNXV, a voter drops off what appears to be a ballot. Later, you see a number of people set up lawn chairs nearby, that voter alleging they were filmed, followed, and accused of being a mule.
We've been preparing for this kind of activity based on, things that have come to our attention about groups that are planning these type of quote-unquote watch parties or tailgate parties.
Dane County's clerk in Wisconsin says his office was inundated with threats following the 2020 election. Since then, they've added a plexiglass wall, new security cameras, and secured about $16 million in county funds for a safer facility.
I worry about them. The city clerk received really more specific death threats.
Nationwide, officials fortifying their offices. In Leon County, Florida, new Kevlar walls. In Flagstaff, Arizona, bulletproof glass and a buzzer entry. And in Jefferson County, Colorado, security guards outside polling places.
The November general election is just weeks away. 4 News Now is dedicated to ensuring you have all the resources to make an informed decision when filling out your ballot this election. One race to keep an eye on is the Washington race for the U.S. Senate between Tiffany Smiley and Patty Murray. If Smiley were to win it, it could shift the balance of power in D.C. They'll be going head-to-head in a debate this Sunday at Gonzaga University. You can watch the entire debate starting at 5 o'clock right here on 4 News Now, or watch it on the go on KXLY.com or KXLY Plus. It will be followed by a special edition of 4 News Now at 6. To find everything you need to know this election season, from registering how to vote to learning more about your candidates, head to KXLY.com/forthepeople for a complete voter guide. The Republican National Committee has filed a lawsuit against Google, claiming the search engine is discriminating against it because of its political affiliation and sending its campaign emails to users' spam folders. The party says this is coming during key times for election fundraising and, quote, the timing of Google's most egregious filtering is particularly damning. Google has previously denied Republican criticism that spam filters are biased against conservatives and has not yet responded for comment on the lawsuit. Coming up on 4 News Now, something not so scary that you can do with your kids this Halloween in downtown Spokane. And after 42 years, a beloved Spokane restaurant is closing its doors. Hear the owners say goodbye to the community right here after the break.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just 1 day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
A lot of politicians like to talk big, but where's the action? Al French is a leader we can trust, and Al's results speak for themselves. Al has won funding for our roads to keep goods moving. As costs skyrocket, Al has pledged no county property tax increase. His opponent wants to give criminals a get-out-of-jail-free card, while Al dedicated more funding to the Sheriff's Department to keep families safe.
I'm Al French. I'm asking for your vote so I can keep getting results for you.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word.
I think I'll sell my veggies at the market.
You even remember to water the house plants. I do this?
You can do this.
Hey, we need to build a home office. We're adding another bathroom.
I think I'll study programming.
Bro, you even connect your phone to Bluetooth.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
Celebrate spooky season with all things Svengoolie. It's MeTV's Svengoolie Halloween Bonanza all month long, featuring special programming and more.
Boo. Svengoolie's Bonanza, all October long on MeTV 4.2.
Get your home ready for the holidays at Walker's, as they offer a double your sales tax discount or no minimum purchase, no money down, no interest for up to 5 years financing.
Making it the perfect time to furnish your life for less at Walker's.
This is a town called Basic. It's pretty hard to stand out around here. But if you pull up in a 2022 Nissan Rogue, you'll stand out before your feet even hit the pavement.
Can you make mine look like that?
Anything but basic. The 2022 Nissan Rogue. Get 1.9% APR financing for 36 months on Rogue with best-in-class fuel economy.
Azar's, a longtime restaurant in Spokane, is closing its doors. The owner, Katie Azar, says she chose to close the beloved restaurant and retire. She says after 42 years, she's ready to take on a less physical job and plans to pursue a real estate career. The beloved restaurant closed tonight at 9 p.m. Azar says she wanted to go out with a bang. Belly dancing shows took place throughout the evening while people enjoyed one last meal there. She says she's thankful for all of the support from her community over the years.
Oh, I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful of the support and the wonderful customers that have become more like family and friends to us. And we're very blessed to have a business in Spokane where the people support small businesses. We've been just happy to be here and to serve.
For those picking up bulk food orders, you'll be able to do that on Sunday. Azar says she just wants tonight to be a party. Well, Halloween is right around the corner, and if you're looking for something to do with your kids next Halloween weekend, head downtown to downtown Spokane for the Spoke-Candy Crawl. Saturday and Sunday, head to the Numerica Skate Ribbon for a day of trick-or-treat fun. Discover spooky scenes around downtown, find clues, and decipher riddles to earn a bag full of fall goodies. That's happening at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on both days.
And that sounds like a ton of fun. We'll probably want to have the jacket handy now that the weather has really flipped over to fall. You're looking out over Spokane, got a full parking lot, Veterans Memorial Arena, and things are going to start looking more and more fall-like. All those trees that haven't turned yet. I think they're going to get the signal here to do it now. Look at this. We're in the mid and low 40s here this evening. Still mostly cloudy skies, so we're going to stay in the 40s here for at least a couple more hours and slowly work our way through the 30s as we head into the late night. Our highs were only in the upper 40s today. We saw just a little bit of rain in the Spokane area. Saw a little bit of rain around Coeur d'Alene as well, just not over at the airport. Now, let's take a look at what is left over. A couple of showers up at the Selkirks and near Priest Lake. And yeah, we have some thunderstorms just to the south of La Crosse in Whitman County. Trying to get going, probably seeing a little bit of grapple or little snow pellets in there mixed with that rain. That's about to cross the Snake River, and we'll trip back in towards the Pomeroy area. It is going to be, well, kind of the last gasp here for this storm. Should be a pretty quiet night otherwise. And well, look at this. This is some big deal news right here. Our first freeze of the season. We're looking for some patchy fog out there as well. So things you got to know, that freeze in the morning. Pretty nice afternoon, but oh, that wet weather, it's not going away, at least not for very long. We'll have what you need to be ready for the start of the week and the rest of your weekend coming up.
Hey, Matt, thanks for that. We'll check back with you in just a little bit. And time is running out. 4 News Now's Coats for Kids campaign is almost over. Throughout the month of October, you have been donating new and gently used coats that will be cleaned and distributed to children and those in need in our communities. And we want to thank you for being a part of the annual campaign, though there is still time to donate if you haven't already. You can find donation boxes at any of our local sponsor locations at Albertsons, Safeway, Jewelry Design Center, Great Floors, and Global Credit Union. And for a full list of locations, head to KXLY.com/coats4kids. That same page also has a list of where and when you can pick up a coat when distribution begins. Well, a railroad strike is still possible in the U.S. U.S. railroad companies rejected a new sick leave proposal from the 3rd largest rail worker union. All 12 railroad unions must ratify their contracts to avoid a walkout that could cripple the U.S. economy. Negotiations are continuing into the next 2 weeks. Railroad workers agreed to delay any strike until at least mid-November, although Congress can always step in to impose terms. Overnight, Donald Trump's legal team has been reacting to the January 6th committee ordering the former president to testify under oath. ABC's White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks is on Capitol Hill with the latest on the historic move and potential legal battle brewing.
This morning, former President Trump waking up under deadline, now formally subpoenaed by the January 6th Congressional Committee.
A subpoena to a former president is a serious and extraordinary action.
In the rare move, the committee demanding Trump turn over his text messages and call records from January 6th, as well as conversations with lawmakers about the election results and any communications relating to militias like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers who stormed the Capitol. The sweeping subpoena also calling for Trump to testify under oath by November 14th.
We are obligated to seek answers directly from the man who set this all in motion.
The co-chairs writing in their letter to the former president, "You were at the center of the first and only effort by a U.S. president to overturn an election and obstruct the peaceful transition of power, ultimately culminating in a bloody attack on our Capitol and on the Congress itself." The subpoena comes as the committee concludes 9 public hearings, carefully building a case alleging that Trump knew he lost the election and repeated lies about it anyway.
Said something to the effect of, "I don't want people to know we lost, Mark. This is embarrassing. Figure it out. We need to figure it out."
And claiming that on January 6th, as commander-in-chief, he took no action for hours to stop the attack as congressional leaders hid for their safety. Though many experts agree it's unlikely Trump will sit for questions, the subpoena potentially setting up a prolonged legal fight.
Assuming that he will fulfill his legal obligation and honor the subpoena, but if that doesn't happen, then we'll take the steps we need to take after that.
Trump's attorneys offering an initial response, saying they will respond as appropriate to this unprecedented action.
Here at 4 News Now, we appreciate past and present service members and their families, and we want to continue to honor the veterans in your life. Send us an email with their pictures, names, branch of service, and any details you'd like us to share to veterans@kxly.com. We'll feature them on our website and right here on our broadcast. Coming up on 4 News Now, the holiday season is inching closer, and so is holiday shopping. What's making a Thanksgiving staple cost so much more this year? Coming up. And the Idaho Vandals were looking to make it 5 wins in a row this afternoon. Coming up in sports, Alex Crescenti shows us if they could overcome a stiff test from Portland State.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
In America, we have a pressure from every quarter trying to destroy the opportunity for people to be able to build their own futures. We see an economy that has gone from the strongest economy that we have seen to one in which we have raging inflation. Our borders must be protected. We are seeing unprecedented entry, 2 million illegal entries, with the drugs and the violence that comes with it. I'm going to fight to make sure that we stop those problems. I'm Mike Crapo, and I approve this message.
Dear night owls, when darkness falls, our stunning style takes flight as we soar over city streets. And our fuel economy is ever so wise. This ride's a hoot. Trust us, Toyota sedans.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Here's a high school hoops success story that almost didn't happen.
My favorite move is an in and out and a crossover.
Camden's always loved playing basketball. Her feet, not so much.
I would get a lot of shin splints, cramps. My feet were betraying me.
So her mom took her in for a fitting at the Good Feet store. Now she's got 2 rings and 2 clutch arch supports.
They're my secret weapon. I use them every single day.
Stop by for your free fitting at the Good Feet store.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Life happens, and you can't always wait for 2-day free shipping. Instead, head to your local Ace Hardware store, where we've got just what you need in stock right now. Our experts give you the knowledge and personal touch you can't find online. And when you need help fixing your broken screen, unclogging that drain, need an extra keymate, or that hard-to-find nut or bolt, we're right around the corner with the helpful advice and products you need without the wait.
Ooh, the DQ chicken strip basket? Yes, please. I want in on that. Oh, that house-made Hidden Valley Ranch is for all the dips. Plus fries, Texas toast, and, you guessed it, DQ chicken strips. Mmm, so good. Let's go, right now. Or let's get delivery at DQ.com. DQ, happy tastes good.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
Now let's focus tonight on our big change in our weather that you most certainly have felt over the past couple of days. Here's our highs for October. 70s, even some 80s all the way up until Wednesday. And then look how far we have dropped from the 70s to today. Our highs were only in the 40s. The numbers may be not as dramatic, but it was still alarmingly warm at night for much of October. No 30s until we were waking up on Friday morning. And now tonight, we're talking about our first freezing conditions of the fall season. It is a little bit cloudy right now around the metro, so it is going to take a little bit of time, but in the early morning we are expecting some clearing out, enough to where we should get down into kind of that low 30s range, hovering right around the freezing mark, at least for a brief moment in the early morning right before the sun comes up. We'll likely also see some patchy fog as a result of that as well. So here you go, low temperatures tonight. Look at that, Colville in the 20s. 30 for Omak, 28 for Bonchers Ferry and Sandpoint tonight. Down below freezing in St. Mary's, in Pullman. Nice and warm, 40s in Lewiston. That's about one of the only places, though, that is going to be above that freezing marker, at least not flirting with it a little bit. We'll take a zoom into the metro region. Deer Park down to 25 tonight, 28 in Spirit Lake. Lots of kind of that low middle 30s. Even if you don't get a freeze at your house, it's likely you are going to see some frosty conditions because, one, we got a lot of wet weather around. Then it's likely you'll see some of that patchy fog as well because of all the leftover moisture from the rain the past couple of days. So speaking of which, look, keeping an eye on the fog forecast here. So this is in the early hours of the morning. You can see that fog beginning to percolate itself here across mostly Kootenai County, but also drifting into the valley on the Washington side as we get into those early hours of the morning. But probably more on the Idaho side, we'll see some of those foggy conditions. All right, fog fades away pretty quickly. We're up into the mid-40s for the middle of the day, and we'll see some sunshine as well. So it's actually a pretty nice afternoon and early evening to get outside and enjoy some nice, albeit cool weather. Only low 50s for much of the region for tomorrow. 51 for Spokane. Much of North Idaho only going to get up into the 40s, 47 in Coeur d'Alene. 40s on the Palouse, 50s as you work your way west, places like Ritzville, Moses Lake, and Omak. 57, one of our warm spots in Grand Coulee. Should be pretty quiet through the overnight. Might see a couple of snow showers on Lookout Pass in the morning. That's about it. Now, we need to be ready for the morning commute for Monday, that things are going to get a little squirrely, particularly if you have a long-haul trip. Say maybe Monday you're headed over to the west side. It's not going to be fun. We're talking about winter weather conditions, and as the morning drags on Monday, we're going to see snow in the mountains and rain in the valleys gradually spread across our region. So another active weather day on Monday, especially during the morning drive time and lunchtime. We'll see some scattered showers through Tuesday and Wednesday. That's going to keep our temperatures down in the 40s. So we got 150s day and back into the 40s for a while. We'll dry out at least a little bit into Thursday and Friday, but I'm already watching the possibility of more rain by the time we get to next weekend, Jordan.
All right, Matt. Well, as we're diving deeper into fall, Thanksgiving is expected to be more costly this year. According to experts in the food industry, the turkey market is stretched thin as prices for the holiday staples soar, and now major chains are warning their customers. ABC's Phil Lipoff explains.
This morning, with just 32 days until the big day, concerns that the perfect turkey for your family table could be tough to find.
What you might have trouble finding is a smaller size, a bigger size, and I'll add that the fresh turkey supply chain is much smaller than the frozen turkey supply.
The surge in pricing due in part to this year's outbreak of bird flu across the country. More than 47 million chickens and turkeys slaughtered to limit the spread of the highly contagious illness. Farming and food industry experts predict this year will produce the highest turkey prices ever. The average 16-pound turkey that cost $24 last year will be upwards of $32 this year. Inflation also playing a part in the price hikes. All retail food prices are up over 10% from last year.
What consumers will see at the store is likely a normal Thanksgiving that is more expensive across the board.
But it's not just consumers flocking to supermarkets feeling the price surge. Restaurants also getting their feathers ruffled over demands for turkey.
We have the meat.
Some Arby's locations running out of turkey with limited stock in store. Customers crying foul on social media. And the popular chain famous for its fried chicken and biscuits, Popeyes, now spreading its wings ahead of the holiday season, but at a price.
We make the Popeyes Cajun turkey with love, too.
Their Cajun-style turkey available with doorstep delivery costing nearly $100.
And we're watching stories gain traction on our website. Yesterday, the 11-time Grammy Award-winning superstar Taylor Swift finally dropped her 10th studio album, Midnights. The 13-track album is already a hit with fans. Spotify saw overwhelming traffic, and users reported outages worldwide. Critics are impressed, too. Rolling Stone calls it an instant classic. Others say it could be Swift's best album so far. Plus, ID badges specific to people living at Camp Hope are now being issued. People have to sign up for a badge and commit to new rules, or they could be forced off the site. And time is running out for people to get their hands on one of those badges. To find out more on these stories, just visit them on KXLY.com.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a matching air conditioner with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free AC from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. You live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
I believe in parental rights,
medical freedom,
school choice,
and education without indoctrination.
I believe in equality
and helping people in need. I care about people
and support legal immigration.
I care about the environment
and equal opportunity for all.
I care about the homeless
and reducing crime.
I'm for the blue-collared worker
and made in the USA.
This year, we're voting Republican.
This year, I'm voting Republican.
First psoriasis, then psoriatic arthritis.
Even walking was tough.
I had to do something. I started Cosentyx.
Cosentyx can help you move, look, and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices, the coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
4 News Now is brought to you by End the Violence.
You know, before the show started, our anchor Jordan Smith called the Kibbie Dome the 8th wonder of the world. And guess what? I dare anyone to argue against that after today. And it's been a long time since the Idaho Vandals have been this good that the 7 other wonders of the world were still standing at that point. Of course, just like the Great Pyramids, people have been wondering, how is this even possible? The Vandals coming into this weekend 4-2 and unbeaten in Big Sky play, which means they control their destiny at this point. But could they stop an upstart Portland State team before it comes crumbling down to the ground, just like the great Gardens of Babylon? Anyway, in the second quarter, we're tied up at 14, and quarterback Dante Chachira keeps the ball in the on the option and gets the score in the Vikings with a 7-point lead. So the Vandals looking for some points before the break, and on 4th down, they go to Giovanni McCoy. He's going to scramble for 13 yards and get it. And the drive keeps going. Very next play, McCoy's going to go over the middle, hit Jermaine Jackson, makes the defender whiff off the tackle, and he's got the touchdown as we are all tied up going into the break. After a bit of a shaky start, the defense of the Vandals definitely stepping up in the second half. This is Leo Tamba coming in for the big sack. Then on the very next play, Vikings facing a 3rd down. Tamba again coming in hot. Portland State just unable to move the ball in the final 2 quarters, and that would play into Idaho's advantage. In the red zone, McCoy connects with Hayden Hatton, who gets the one-handed catch and the 1-foot down. Unbelievable touchdown. If that's not SportsCenter top 10, it's a crime, quite frankly. Then in the 4th, Idaho on the march again. This time, Roshan Johnson making a little nice move, and he's in for the first of his 2 touchdowns on the day. And the route was officially on in Moscow. Idaho scoring 42 unanswered points to blow out their Big Sky foe. And the offense of the Vandals, 571 yards on the day, as they look very impressive going into the final month of the regular season. And don't look now, but a berth in the playoffs isn't out of the realm of possibility here. Our Julian Minnesota has more from the Kibbie Dome.
Idaho is looking to add 2022 to that football championship banner. The Vandals score 42 unanswered points from the second quarter through the second half to keep pace atop of the Big Sky Conference standings.
Credit to these players, man. They've worked hard and they've believed, and I think we're a confident team that I told them this week, there's no ceiling, I think, what this team can do. We got to keep getting better and keep improving, but I think when we play the way we're capable of, we're going to be able to play with anybody in FCS football.
Portland State had no answer for the Vandals' offensive attack. Idaho tallied 571 yards of offense behind quarterback Giovanni McCoy.
We stepped up probably our effort, stepped up our execution, and just got back to playing Vandal football. I think the second half is how we want to play.
It wasn't just the offense. The Vandal defense stepped up with 3 interceptions. Something they've been emphasizing all season.
If it's up and we're in good position, we're always going right after it. And it's just preached every day that getting the ball back to the offense by takeaways is something that's huge. It wins people games. We've done a great job with it, and I think that's part of why we've won. We're 4-0 right now in conference, and we keep going after it.
With the victory, Idaho improves to 4-0 in conference play for the first time since 1994. And this sets up a showdown against Sacramento State next week on the road. Kickoff scheduled for 6 o'clock. In Moscow, Julian Minnesota, 4 News Now Sports.
And like Julian said, Sacramento State awakes next week. They are in a battle with Montana right now, but that's the #2 team in the country
as we certainly stand. And the Eastern Washington Eagles also getting the win this evening, beating Cal Poly on the road to earn their first Big Sky win on the season. This was not the type of game that the Eagles are used to playing, a very low-scoring affair, but they do limit the Mustangs to just less than 250 yards on the night. Eastern's now going to return home to take on who else but Portland State next weekend. So another familiar face coming up this way. 4 News Now. Oh, Jordan, I should send it over to you, actually.
Thanks, Alex. And all I can say is, hey, V's up. This morning, college football is going to be on trial for what looks like a landmark jury case involving the NCAA. The widow of a former USC football player is suing the NCAA for failing to protect her husband from head trauma that she says ultimately caused his death. Matthew G. was a star linebacker for USC and part of the 1990 Rose Bowl winning team. He died at the age of 49. Experts say symptoms often show up decades after individuals get exposed to repeated head impacts.
When my colleagues studied Mac G's brain, they found that he had stage 2 CTE.
G's lawyers claim in the lawsuit for years the NCAA has kept players like Matthew G and the public in the dark about an epidemic that was slowly killing college athletes. But the NCAA in court on Friday says it's not responsible for G's death, instead blaming it on poor health choices.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Arby's, 2 for $7. Every day, Euros. Arby's with that great technique. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
For over 60 years, McVey Brothers Siding and Windows has been supplying the entire region with the very best energy-efficient windows made by the Coeur d'Alene Window Company. As people continue to improve and upgrade their older homes, McVey Brothers would love to help by offering our most advanced R4 window package at last year's rates to give you the most energy-efficient windows sold today before the prices go up. We understand people are spending more time in their homes, so we want to do our part in making it as comfortable as possible.
When I was 18, I really wanted to go to college and I wanted to study art, but I didn't know how to go about it. Being undocumented for most of my life, I wasn't able to apply for FAFSA or any financial aid, so I took out some private loans. I kept paying and paying and paying and paying, but they just wouldn't go down. BCU helped me get back on my feet. I took out a credit card with them. It allowed me to rebuild my credit. I just always assumed that the default was like, well, banks always take advantage of you. Being in a credit union has proved to me that, no, there is an alternative.
So, you like winning? Maybe it's time you paid a visit to the Kootenai River Casino in Bonners Ferry. Talk about winning. How about great gaming and off-season room rates? How about $109 a night for Kootenai Falls Lodge rooms and $129 a night for Riverview rooms? And what if those midweek rooms come with free breakfast for 2? Throw in some great new gaming machines and you've got a winner of a getaway. To book your winning getaway, call 888-YOU-ARE-LUCKY or visit KootenaiRiverInn.com.
When I was told I had a brain tumor, my life disappeared in a moment. I feared for my future, but even more, I feared for the ones I love. How would they move on without me? But when my doctor told me about the Gamma Knife of Spokane, everything changed. I can get my brain tumor treated in just 1 day and continue living the life I love. Because of Gamma Knife, I have hope.
Arby's, 2 for $7. Every day, classic beef and cheddar hard. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
And that is a much different 7-day forecast that we have become accustomed to. Below average temperatures. It's been so long. It's been so long since I've got to talk about rain, about something different. We're happy to be tracking something in the Weather Center. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's 70 degrees. I mean, it was nice. It's
it was
a little
fun
different.
while it lasted, right? Yep. It was nice to have some sunshine and warm temperatures. Well, pop the heaters on, folks.
Pop the heaters on. Well, hey, keep up to date with all of the news on 4 News Now on KXLY.com. That's going to do it from us tonight. Have a good rest of your night.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.